is good, everybody? Welcome back to another video on the Forge, and today I think I just created one of the best, if not the best weapon in this game currently, and I will show you guys how to follow my steps in order for you to create something similar or an exact duplicate. And if you want to know the proof, if you want to see it with your own eyes, here it is. This is my demonic chaos sword. It does damn near 120 damage and has 7 traits on the weapon: explosion, critical chance, lifesteal, lethality, critical damage, and burning. It has 2 rune slots. It is +6 enhanced, and the weapon itself is a beast when you're using it. So let me stop yapping and let's actually start this video. But first, I'll leave the codes in the description if you missed that out on the previous one. And as always, if you guys end up enjoying this video or find it useful, go ahead and like, subscribe, and turn on the noties, as it helps me out a ton. And if you have any questions, and I mean literally any questions, leave one down below and I'll try to respond to as many as possible. Now let's begin with the first thing that you have to know, which is the different weapon types in this game. As you can see right here, currently I am on the official wiki. I will leave this in the description as well if you want to go ahead and use it. But there are around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different weapon types. There's the daggers, the straight swords, the great swords, the gauntlets, the katanas, the great axes, and the colossal swords. You can actually see this in the game itself if you head on over to the Forge and check out the left hand side when crafting a weapon. Now, one thing you might notice is that with each type of weapon, there are different variants. For example, in the dagger section, there's a 1 in 1 chance to craft a normal dagger, a 1 in 4 chance to craft a gladius dagger or gladius dagger, and a 1 in 16 chance to craft a hook. The one that I have is a 1 in 16 chaos straight sword. But the reason why I mention this is because with each variant, they come with different stats. A normal straight sword, like the falchion sword, does 7.5 damage with an attack speed of 0.59 seconds, while a chaos straight sword, which is the one that I have, does 9.39 damage with an attack speed of 0.59 seconds. So it is the same attack speed, but this one just does more damage. And if you want to know the top 7 best base DPS weapons in this game with each category, here it is. Coming in at first place in the colossal swords, we have the Dragon Slayer. This does 19.64 DPS, and you can figure that out by taking the base damage with no multipliers and divide it by the attack speed, so 1.12 seconds. In second place, we have the Chaos with 15.91 DPS. In third place, we have the Scythe with 15 DPS. In fourth place, we have the Tachi with 14.16 DPS. In fifth place, we have the Relevator coming in at 13.91 DPS. At sixth place, we have the Hook with 12.13 DPS. And then lastly, we have the Crusader, which only does 12 DPS. Now, this doesn't show the entire picture because there's also other stats that you have to account for. And this is what it could look like. For the Dragon Slayer, 22 damage, 1.12 attack speed, 19.64 DPS, 10 studs. This basically means the attack range. It also is a 1 in 3 chance to craft. And in order to craft it, it costs around 30 plus ores to even have a chance at getting the weapon. So I'm going to quickly run through all the weapons that I just ranked and its base stats so you could find out which one you want. Now for me, I chose the Chaos Straight Sword just because the range on it is only 2 studs shorter than the Dragon Slayer, and it is twice as fast when attacking, and I like that a lot more than more DPS just because you have higher chances to proc your traits when crafting with ores, which I'll explain right after this. Plus, it only costs around 5 plus ores to actually have a chance at crafting a straight sword in general. Now moving on to the second part of the video, you need to understand ores in general and what they could do when crafting. So if you already didn't know, different types of ores come along with different traits, and those traits can transfer onto weapons, giving them stronger buffs. If you head to the wiki, you could see that for weapons, the main ones you want to aim for is Demonite, a mythical ore that has a 20% burn for 2 seconds with a 15% chance on hit. There's the Magmite ore that does 50% AoE explosion damage with your weapon at a 35% chance on hit. The Fyrite ore, which has has a 20% burn for 2 seconds with a 30% chance on hit. The eye ore, which has a plus and a minus, where you get subtracted 10% of your health but get plus 15 damage boost on weapons and armors. And then finally, the Rivalite epic ore, which gives you plus 20% critical strike chance on weapons. Now here's a couple more things that you have to keep in mind when crafting. Those numbers from the ore traits can actually fluctuate as well, so it might not do as much burn damage and it might not last as long. For example, when you're using the Firelight, you also need to have 10% of the total amount of ores be that specific ore. So for example, if I have 9 eye ores and 1 Firelight ore, that 1 Firelight ore accounts for 10% of the total amount, since it's 1 out of 10, meaning that the trait from the Firelight ore will transfer onto my weapon. But if I have 10 eye ores and 1 Firelight, this doesn't account for 10% of 11 ores anymore, so I won't get the trait from the Firelight. It'll only transfer the multiplier. And speaking on multiplier, it determines how much an ore boosts the base stats of a weapon or armor piece when it's used in forging. So the higher the multiplier, the higher base stats your weapon or armor will have. And then finally, keep in mind, you could only have 4 traits when crafting your base weapon. So this won't work because the eye ore technically has 2 traits. So if you want to get 4 traits that are all positive, you'd replace that eye ore with something like Rivalite. So let me show you the combination that I used that I crafted my weapon with, and basically my reaction afterwards. So this is going to be the combination that I'm going to be using. Even though it's not a 5 times multiplier, it should be fine. Let's go ahead and start crafting this straight sword. Hopefully we get a chaos variant, but we will see at the very end right here. Come on, give me something good. Oh, is that the chaos sword? Wait, it might actually be. It's fat, it's thick. I think that's the same image on the actual weapon. Hopefully we got it because this looks absolutely insane. Look at the aura on it. Ooh, is this the chaos weapons from God of War? Is this Kratos's? No way. A masterwork 100% mythical chaos weapon that's straight up demonite with 90.62 damage, attacking every 0.59 seconds. What an amazing sword that we just crafted. If it was any other day, I'd be screaming at the top of my lungs because I got so insanely lucky with this. But from there, you could then take your weapon and head on over to the enhancer, where you could enhance your weapon with essences that you find from killing mobs. And if you want to know which essences are from which mob, you could head to the index, go to enemies, and check their drop. But what enhancing basically does is that the further you make it in improving the weapon, the higher the stat multiplier goes. And with +6, I get 1.30 times my stats and also a second rune slot. But my craft chance is really low and it requires a lot of rare essences. Plus, later on, it will cost a decent amount of money, so you save up gold. Now, when you're done enhancing, you could then head on over to the Runemaker and add runes to your weapons. If you want to find out how to get runes, go to the index and you could actually see which mobs drop specific runes. For example, the Reaper, the strongest mob in the game, drops the Drain Edge rune, which has lifesteal. It also drops the Flame Spark rune, which burns enemies. But you could head over to the Runemaker now, go to your weapon, and then add the runes accordingly. Now, here's a couple things you need to keep in mind when going through your runes. Each rune is going to be different than the last one, even if it has the same first trait, just because there's also a secondary trait that could be different than the others. And the first traits themselves could also have different variables. So this one does 21% of the weapon damage as AoE with a 19% crit chance, while the other explosion one does 25% of the weapon's damage as AoE with a 12% crit chance. So you really want to find the perfect harmony of a good first trait and a good second trait. On my Demonite weapon, I have the Flame Spark rune, which this one gives me increased burn and increased crit chance, while my second rune is the Drain Edge rune, giving me lifesteal on hit and increased critical damage on hit, making this weapon so incredibly powerful. And that's basically how you craft the best weapon. So now let's give it a little twirl. Let's use this weapon. Let's go against Reapers, Death Axe Skeletons, and Slimes to see how much damage I do alongside with my Angel Race smiting the enemies. So our first victim has to be a Death Axe Skeleton. These guys are always giving me trouble. Seems like somebody's already killing that one. Let's find another one. Oh, this guy right here. Okay, all right, we're gonna go ahead and M1 once. All right. Oh my god. That damn near one-shotted the skeleton. And he's dead. That's a two-shot right there. They have over 540 HP. Let's M1 that again. Okay, 150. No passives procced on that. And then the explosion finishes him off. It's disgusting. This weapon is disgusting. Okay, the slime, 600 HP. Let's go ahead and parry the next attack. There it is, M1. That's 150. Can we get an explosion? Didn't even matter. Didn't even get to it. It was burning. It two shots a rogue skeleton though, so we'll take it. What about using our M2? Let's try it out on this death axe skeleton. That's half his HP. No passives procced as well. I think the lightning does 20 and the explosion does 42, so that's around 60 extra damage just with the explosion and smite passive. So that's damn near 200 damage per M1, not accounting for crit as well. That was literally a two-shot on that slime, and they have like 600 HP. Now let's use it on a real challenge, the Reaper. Okay, we're gonna parry it 3 times. 1. Oh, he's spinning. Wait, this is the perfect time to attack. And he's dead. Just like that, he is dead. Let's try it again. Parry and parry, and he's spinning again. Let's do our M2, M1, 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 and he's dead. It's actually just so fun to run around killing mobs when you have an insanely OP weapon. And I could take this even further by going to achievements and increasing our critical chance by 14% there. That is literally a two-shot. One attack did 75% of its HP. Can I one-tap a skeleton? I just did. Let's use M2 on a rogue skeleton. Look, it's burning to death. I didn't even finish it off. It did it on its own. Oh my god. Oh my god. But you guys see the potential of this weapon. You guys can make it too with the information that I gave you. Hopefully you can. Good luck crafting out there. But with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace.